Okie dokie, finally I can actually have time to work on this while I'm home for vacation and I can speak because I'm not at work. So, last we left off inheritance quiz, making a game where the character fights monsters and can attack or flee from them until reaching level 20 or dying, in which case the game ends with a victory or failure. So we created a getRandomMonster function where I learned that you can create a static function, a static member function inside a class that returns an object of that class, which was crazy. I want to look at that again. I think it's in Monster. Or it might be, yeah. It is, yeah. Because we have, in this class, we have a static array of creatures, which are the parent class of monster. So, okay, we can create creatures in this class. Static, okay. But then a monster, the getRandomMonster will call the constructor of this class, which is crazy. It just seems to me like an object of the class would have to be created, and then outside of it we can call it. But I guess that's not true because even inside one function, it can recursively call itself. So it's totally fine. There's nothing saying that anything particular has to be complete before you can call it. You can't only call a function outside of itself. No, there's recursion. So there's nothing that says that I can't initialize a class object inside a function in that class, which is crazy because I guess you just have to separate a class into its components. You have the constructor, and anything else, any other member function can call the constructor. Why not? I guess you probably can't. You might not be able to if it's non-static, though. Because if I had an object that exists already, a class object, and I call its constructor from a member, from one of its members, non-static, then it's calling that function on that object. So what would that even do? Would that would that reconstruct it? Would that reinitialize it? I don't know. That would be interesting. Like if I just call the like lowercase monster dot monster parentheses, and then I enter in the parameters that it takes. And then what would that do? Would that just return another monster? I don't see anything saying that it would reinitialize this one. Or maybe we just can't call it, but whatever. Not relevant here. So on to the rest of the game loop logic. I'll go till 11:10. I gotta stay disciplined and work on this stuff when I'm home. I don't really feel like working on Liar's Bar right now. But alright, let's go with this. I gotta do like at least 30 minutes or so a day before I go downstairs and hang with family. Okay. So, whole point is we have a player, and then we start the game loop, and that gets a random monster that the player is introduced to, and we might just call it for this iteration of the loop, this monster, or just monster. And it has its properties, and we print its name and what it is, and say, oh, you encountered this. And then we have to get a character from the player to see what the player is going to do. Is he going to press R to run, or F to flee, or something to fight? What is it? Is it F and R? I'll just say that. A to attack, probably. Attack or flee. And if you attack, it applies your damage to the monster, but then the monster attacks after. So the player always attacks first. But I think, because there's no speed attribute here, but we could add that. whichever one's, would we have, I guess we would have an if statement and we'd say, if the monster speed is faster, then the monster attacks, and then the player attacks. Else, then the player attacks and then the monster attacks. And we could have something for a tie too. So we could say, else if the player's speed is faster, then the player attacks first, then the monster attacks first. And then finally, else if they're equivalent. We don't need a third else if because there's only one other option here, that they're equal. Then we do a coin flip, where we get a random number, and if it's 1, then it's the monster, if it's 2, then it's the player, or something like that. So, or 0 versus 1, whatever. So, in this case, I guess this will continue. So I guess we need to break whenever the character dies. So we can either add whether the player is dead in this condition, or I think we just check it at the end of the turn. So after taking damage, curious if we want to do. I guess we do a sub loop where another loop where the player is getting attacked by the monster, because we don't want to create the monster every single time in here. We want to create a monster for every encounter, but we don't want to create a monster for every turn the player takes versus the monster. So we probably need another loop that occurs while the monster and player's health are both above 0. And once one of them is not, then we can check to see which one is actually dead. And then, boom. Or we could just have a while true loop and check those in the loop and then break them. Okay, so we've created a monster. We introduce the monster. We say, get a character from the player. I can't remember if this was bugging out, and I was getting, it might have been cutting off the input again here. I don't remember if it actually was, though. That's what I'm thinking. Oh, good. What are the errors? Oh, I should have just compiled, not tried to run. What am I doing? Oh, this is unused, so we'll just do maybe unused. Please stop. Recompile. Wait, oh, I forgot the second end brace, or bracket, sorry. Rusty, it's been 2 days. Okay. So, start. We get the player's name first. Boom, there's the name. Oh, this should be A, dragon appears. And then run our attack. And we say R, and then whatever. Because we're not validating input. Cool. Okay, that works. Good. So, that input stuff was fixed. It was just because I was using standard get line. How was that happening again? Was it because of that standard? Actually, it might not have been because we were doing standard get line. It might have just been because, what if, because I think it was just because we were returning a standard string view to a variable that was created, or to an object that was initialized in a function, and referencing it out, or using it, referencing it outside the function via a string view. We'll look at that memory address, but it's likely that memory, the values there have changed after the function destroyed all of the objects created within it. So I think we can actually swap this, or at least try to, and this is not correct anymore because this standard character input does not ignore all the leading white space. That's only standard get line, where you use operator overloading to pass, or operator overloading between standard white space and standard character input. And that will ignore the leading white space and then extract subsequent characters. Extracted to standard white space, and we're extracting the value to name. I'll try this. I'm curious if this will give an operator overloading error. Like no operands match. Yep. Yep. Cool. Okay, good. So it is still the extraction operator, which makes sense. So it's like we're extracting all the characters, passing it to standard whitespace, which will loop through the characters, I guess loop through the extracted string, and then kill all the whitespace, and then pass it to the destination name, which I guess is passed via address to get line, something like that. So now I'll check to see if the name works correctly. Oh, good. Does not. Trying to remember why. Trying to remember why it still wants us to submit more characters, but whatever, a problem for another time. We'll just do extract the name. Cool. Cool. Make sure this still works. Cool. Okay. So we get the choice from the user now, and we have a loop to validate it. And really, this should be this could just be within the loop while it's, so you could say do this while the value is not valid. So we have to create it once and then we just keep getting input for it. I think so. So I think I'll just create the turn choice here and then put this within a while true loop. That way it continues until it's valid. Or actually, rather, we could do that, or we could do a do while loop and say while the characters are. Or while the value isn't valid. Why not that, right? Do while. Oh, wait, what? I'll do this. Oops. While true, we'll just say for now. Isn't that the syntax for it? It does need a semicolon. Okay. I don't do all true loops often. Okay. But it won't actually be while true. It'll be while user turn choice, or while user turn choice is not equal to do we have something like user turn choice dot to, no, I guess this is a string. We can't do it with a character. I could just add 4 things to see if it's a I guess it works. I don't like magic values. Magic numbers, magic values. But it's also cumbersome to have a constants. And it would be stupid to have a lambda or a function just to do that. I mean, I'm thinking like if I pass user turn choice, this could be while, and then we call a function or a lambda defined up here that passes in this character and just checks if it's one of our 4 values, lowercase or uppercase R or A, any of those 4. Or I'd have to write down user turn choice is not R uppercase or lowercase or A uppercase or A lowercase. And honestly, that's the easiest version. I mean, instead of having a whole fucking lambda just for that seems ridiculous. So, while it's not this, and user turn choice is not this, and user turn choice, we'll just do, and user turn choice is not A, or we'll do uppercase. For consistency, and user turn choice is not lowercase a. Continue until turn choice is valid. What do we call it? Yeah, is valid. There's turn choice. Okay, so we prompt and say run our attack. Then we user for turn choice. Then we'll get it. Enter character input, extract to user turn choice, or rather, isn't it get user character? User input, get user character. And this would be via assignment because we can't initialize it. Like that. And then, I don't like using assignment, but is what it is. I mean, we could just, no, because user turn choice needs to exist before this loop. We can't define it in here. And then, well, I mean, that means it will exist here. It could go either way. I'll leave it like this because it seems fine. That's it. And then only thing is, if it's not, I want to handle if it's not valid input though. So, oh, I guess we could say, I don't want to check for this condition twice. I have to check to see if it's this, or if it's not any of these. And if it's not any of them, print, try again. I don't want it to just, you type in the wrong character, and then it prompts you for it again, which is what it'll do now, right? And so we'll just do finished getting user return twice. Like that. And this should do this once, and then continue until the character is correct. It's a valid choice. Right? R or A. So delete them, and then we'll do this. A is good. A is good. R is good, and R is good. Okay. We could just keep it like that. I mean, do I care? Do I have to go, oh, invalid choice, try again? I mean, it seems self-explanatory like this. And if I wanted to do that, I would change this to be a while true loop. And then before the end of the loop, I would, meaning at the end of the loop body, I should have said that, we check. And if it's valid, we return. And if it's not, or actually, no. We do if not these, we say invalid, try again, and then continue. Otherwise, that's it. We just put that if in there, and this wouldn't be, nothing would be printed if it's correct, and we just continue. But if it isn't, and this returns false, then we print the error message and then we continue. But I don't really care about the error message here. I like it just being concise like this. You just type in more shit. Let me check how it is with a bunch of input. Like that. So not only is there, so it input succeeded, but it was just extraneous. Oh, but A was the first character, so it extracted A. But if we do S, and there's a bunch of A's, then it just clears it, and it's invalid. Cool, works for me. So now we can get the choice. And now, so we have the choice. And do we need a loop? Well, I guess not in here. Oh, I gotta go to the bathroom soon. I can hold it 15 minutes. Oh, nice, the dogs, you can hear them. Oh, whatever. So, get the choice. And if it's attacking, then we attack that. So I guess it's two things. We have one like branch. We have one branch of code. What do you call it? Code coverage. It's each branch of the logic, each flow, I guess we'll say. So each, I kind of like the term from Unreal Engine, branches of if statements. It's like there's this option, and then there's this. So each else if, or each if, is its own branch. I guess each else if is. But, so if we have an if, we've attacked, in this body of code, we attack, then the enemy attacks, and then we check to see if we're dead or the enemy's dead. And if they are, we level up the character, and then we continue on to the next one. And don't know if the character heals or what. I'll have to refresh how that'll happen. But the other body, if not, and we chose to run, then we don't attack. Instead, we get a random number. That's our like flee chance. I think it's like 50%. And if we flee, then we continue the loop. But if we don't, then we get attacked by the monster. And then we prompt it for the next. Okay, I gotta go to the bathroom. Can't hold it. I will be right back.